Hey guys, hey, it's Heavy T here. Hey, I just want to throw out another video here to you guys. And the reason why I want to do this video, and I've been wanting to do it for a while, is I've gotten a lot of comments on some of my videos regarding the cloning, and I just kind of wanted to clarify a lot of things. It's kind of difficult for people to accept it, and I understand that. It was really difficult for me to accept it. But you got to understand there's a lot to it. They've had a lot of time to program us guys, and there's certain words. I don't know if you've heard of what spelling really means, but spelling is basically, it is a casting of spells. And they've used words to basically trick our minds for a long period of time to program us. So there's certain words that you're going to get certain responses from emotionally when they're said or when you hear them. And cloning is one of them. Cloning, as soon as somebody hears cloning, they think crazy. It's a natural response to it. It's been programmed into us somehow over the years, and it's something that people just won't accept. But the truth of the matter is, it is being done. It has been done for a while. The other word that you can definitely think is parasite is another one. When people hear the word parasite, they get angry, they get mad, they get objectionable right away. Is another word that will throw you off. It's a programmed word, and our emotional response to these words has been programmed into us somehow over a long period of time. So depending on how many times we've incarnated here on Earth here. So anyway, I wanted to throw that out, and then. As far as like the cloning goes, it's been going on for a long period of time. I believe it was 1938 when it was first done, and it didn't get into the technology that it's using now, where they're actually able to make the robotoids within I think it's like 2 to 3 hours, in fact. And the robotoid clone is basically a synthetic person, they call it. And not the Germans, but the Russians pioneered it back in the early 70s, and the robotoid clone and the technology. They basically were at a cold war with one another, and they were using this technology, the synthetic robotoid clone, to basically take our ambassadors out. So they were cloning our ambassadors. They were basically killing them, cloning them, and putting in their synthetic clone of them. And they were actually able to the ambassador would report any information to them. So they were using them in the 70s, and then we picked up on the technology. I believe the Rockefellers and some of the other Illuminati high-level people picked up on it, I think in the early 80s, and so they started doing it themselves as well. So the robotoid has been something that's been going on for a while now, guys. So I just wanted to point that out. It's something that you're not going to read about in the media. They're not going to tell you anything about it. You have to really do a lot of digging on it, and you can find it. There's information, a lot of it, on the dark web as well. If you get into the dark web, you will find a lot more information there. But you can also just dig into. If you dig in far enough to some of your searches, the Google searches, and you're careful with your wording, you can find some information on it through Google as well. I don't know, they're probably throwing it further back than I even looked. That was like 2 years ago. So anyway, what I wanted to throw out there is I didn't come to the conclusion about the cloning thing as far as my wife overnight. It was something that I really had to do a lot of research on in order to come up with it, and I had to look at a lot of different aspects of it. Her behavior, the way she looked, the pictures I had, and I really had to put together kind of my own, not just mental, but I wrote a lot of it down, but it was like a kind of my own dossier on her in order to come to the conclusion that it was definitely a clone that was in her body, or I should say a biomine that was transferred into her body. And I'll kind of explain how it's done. What they do is once the host is killed, and once the soul has left the body, what they do is they're able to resuscitate the body, but they can't bring the soul back into the body. So what a lot of times that they'll do, and they can keep the body and make another one at the same time, or they can just make a robotoid synthetic person right there. It just depends on how much time they have, what's going on. Now I understand there's a lot of overdoses that are not there's not that many malpractice suits over the last 4 years for some reason. I think it's actually 5-6 years now. I was kind of looking into it a little bit, researching it. There's not a lot of numbers you can find on it. And you could find those numbers a while back because there were people that were in some blogs that were commenting on that. They used to be able to find the statistics on the overdoses on a lot of the patients and stuff regarding the anesthesias, and now they can't find any information on it. So somebody's hiding the information regarding it pretty severely right now. And I think there's a reason for it. I sincerely believe my wife was killed when she had my son. I believe her soul is in heaven. I was in astral plane. I saw what appeared to look like her with a lot of glowing light, and I actually spoke with her on the astral plane one time. And I felt her when I prayed. I felt her arm come around me. And I also have audio of kind of the first couple of weeks after I kind of was thinking that she might be cloned when she was going to work, where it sounded like a soul was fighting with her, or whispering things, calling her a bitch, whoever the person is that took over her I guess her identity here or whatever. You can hear something fighting with her several times in a lot of the audio, which sounds like a ghost, and it does sound like my wife's voice. It really does. So I don't know what's up with that. Is it psychological to the targeted individuals to make us go more crazy? I don't know. I know they can add stuff onto audio. I know that's possible. In fact, I found 2 bugs in one of my recorders, and I took them out, put them in, folded it up, put it in my backpack, and that disappeared from my home as well. So somebody here has been taking a lot of my evidence, and there's no doubt about it. So I don't believe it's ghosts that are doing it. I've had my stuff at my brother's several times and haven't had a problem at all. It seems to be only when it's here, and it seems to be evidence. It seems to be the things that, like, if I had I think 3 Handycam cameras that I had bought in different years. One of them was a tape, one of them was a disc one, because I was trying different ones, and I was getting them pretty cheap from the local thrift stores here. And every single charger is gone from them, so I can't charge any of them now. Somebody went into each of the packs that they come in, the carrying cases, and took out the chargers. And of course my wife says she didn't do it, which is typical. That's her typical response to all of it. So does she know that she's being controlled, and maybe something's coming in to her and controlling her, and then wiping her memory so she doesn't know that she was doing it? I don't know. I can tell you this though. I let her hear the recording where it sounds like she's forced being raped in the car. And she sides with, oh, there's nothing wrong. That's nothing. Or, she was trying to defend it the whole time. Now, if you've really listened to it, you can't really defend what's happening there. There's something happening there. She says, I can't hear any other voice. I heard a voice like 3 times. I think it's somebody else's voice, and it sounds like a whispering voice. So I don't know what's up with that. I was thinking it could be demon raping her in the car. That's kind of a little stretch. So I don't know what's happening there, but she seems to defend it. So I'm thinking maybe she's definitely 100% robotoid, controlled by them 100%, knows what she's doing. Is very good at acting when, like, my mother comes around. She's a totally different fucking person. I've got her talking shit about my mother on audio that I let my mother finally hear, because I was tired of her getting away with her act, pretending like she doesn't, that she loves my mom so much, and then, she's talking shit behind her back the next minute. So she's definitely what would you say, very deceptive, and she's lied to me so many times since this has started, guys. That's another reason. My wife used to never lie to me. She never did. So that's a red flag there. The other thing is I want to point out is her vocabulary. Her vocabulary was very high. She used to read a lot of books, and she used to use really large words, a lot of times from the books that she read. Her vocabulary was pretty well induced. So she doesn't talk like that anymore. She talks like a 23-year-old dropout that maybe made it through high school, but that was it. And so she doesn't use any of the same vocabulary she used to use. The other things are obviously the things that are intimate in our lives that I know she wouldn't have forgotten. Since us having Jax, our baby, she couldn't remember, like I said, our wedding when it snowed. It only snowed in Vegas 3 times. She couldn't remember it snowing on our wedding. She couldn't remember them losing our rings. Our rings didn't show up till about an hour before our wedding, because they lost our luggage, which seemed like that sounds like a targeted individual thing right there. So maybe I was being targeted then too, I'm not sure, but, anyway, we had a lot of like things like that happen. I saved her from falling off of Red Rocks Amphitheater. She almost fell off the wall up here, which is about a 50-foot drop. She would have died instantly. I caught her and saved her from falling. Our first date, she doesn't remember what I got her on her first date. She doesn't remember where we went on her first date. She doesn't remember where we were when we met her parents. First time I met her parents, she doesn't remember anything like that. Okay. So there's a lot to that. My wife didn't forget all that. She remembered all that before she had Jax. I know she did. And the thing is, she's not very proactive about wanting to get help to get a malpractice lawyer to help us. She's almost against it, every time I bring it up, and then I force her. She's like, yeah, well, I'll do it. She almost acts like she's put out to do it. So I haven't done anything with it. I don't know what else to do. I guess I can do a suit for my son only, but if she's gonna work against it, what am I gonna do with that? She's obviously the main player in the whole thing. So I think that's weird, because I think most people, if they were killed and having a baby, and my son might have hearing problems too, which she has not addressed either. So it's weird that she's not addressing any of those issues, and she doesn't sound concerned about helping him in any way with that. So I think that's weird, and I'm not the first one to point that out. My dad thinks the same thing on that. So the way she looks, there's different pictures of her. You guys have seen my pictures, the different size noses. I remember her having that flat nose with 100% a fact. She didn't act like the same person either. There was a lot of those times she was not acting right at all. She was lying to me constantly. She was going other places. She wasn't at work the whole time. I know she wasn't, because I know where she was on her Google, on the GPS on her Google. And she says it was lying. She says someone is hacking, making me think that she was someone else's bullshit. Okay, because they have defended her as far as hacking into my phones, getting rid of all the pictures of her, anything that might be evidence leading to her being not herself. Okay, they have tried to get rid of on all my phones, all my devices. Okay, whoever's doing this, they have gotten rid of almost everything. Now the pictures you see there, I was able to get those out barely. I mean, I don't know how I got them out. I just duplicated them on so many different devices that they couldn't catch. They didn't have a way to catch them all, find them all. So I was able to finally get out some of them, but there was way more, guys. And I had 17 memory cards here at the house disappear. Gone, completely gone. License plate numbers, people that were stalking me. It's all gone. All that stuff is gone. I've only got 3 cards left. Okay, so 17 out of 20 have vanished and never shown up again. Okay, so there's something up with that. There's somebody here doing it, and I know. And I caught her 3 times getting into my stuff, so I know she is. It's just really hard, guys, because I got the kids here, and I don't want to. I'm worried to leave them because I want them to be protected. It's mainly my 9-year-old mostly. I don't feel that much connection with my youngest, my newborn, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if they maybe swapped out the babies. I don't know if he might have died too. I have no idea. But it kind of it worries me because I don't know what happened here. But something happened when she was in the hospital. Okay, she's not her anymore. That's not the same person that I married. I know for a fact. Okay, because I know who my wife was. I was married to her for 17 years, going on 18 now. Okay, so I know who she was. All right, I know a lot of things about her, and this person acts totally different in a lot of different ways. A lot of the questions I've asked her, she answers them differently than my wife did. So, it's not just the pictures and all that stuff, guys. There is a lot of factors that came into my conclusion on it. So I just want you guys to be aware of that, and just think that it's not something I like to bring up. It's not something that I want to say that's happening. Okay, nobody wants to say that about their loved ones. Okay, but it's something that I had to come to a conclusion with. Okay, because it can't be mind control. I guess it could if they had it controlled to that extent, but it doesn't change the way people look either. Okay, in pictures especially. So they can change a picture, they can basically mess with a picture, but if you remember it personally, like her nose being that way for a week, then it's not just a picture. It was that way for a week. So I know that for a fact. I saw it with my own eyes. The things that they're putting in some of the videos, you see her eyes that have the slits in the middle. It seems to be that way when she gets really, really pissed is when I notice that the most. So her eyes get almost like a snake eye. And so I've noticed that when that's happened. So, there's a lot of different things to factor in. When my son was going to be born, he was going to be born on 7/7 of 2014. and 14 would be 7, 7 again if you divide it up into two. So it would be 7, 7, 7, 7, which is a very divine number. That was something I don't think they wanted to happen. I think they tried to stop certain bloodlines from having, being born on divine dates. They don't. There's something about my bloodline that they don't like, and that's why they're attacking me. That's why they're doing this. I really believe that 100%. There was also something in the hospital where the nurse didn't act right when she brought the baby in, asking us our blood types, and I told her what mine was, and my wife told her. She just acted like, oh, well, like she was going to ask another question, and then she's like almost like she just like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, and walked out. So I think there was something there. I was thinking of having taking my son in and having our blood checked to see if we have the same DNA, because there was something weird about that. And when I told my wife I was going to do that, she didn't act too happy about it. So there was something to that that she didn't want me to do, to have that done, because she did not want me to have it done for some reason. I could tell she got really angry really fast. So you guys, I just want you to be vigilant. I gotta be honest, I'm gonna be leaving here real soon, okay? And I don't know where I'm gonna go, okay? The reason why is because it's been getting really hard with my kids. My 9-year-old she hides when I pick her up from school in the car. She like gets down in the seat and hides because she's embarrassed. So I don't know what they've been telling people at her school, but it's getting really upsetting to me. And obviously I'm in danger here, living with her, because she's doing so much to hurt me. So it's just time that I have to go my separate way with her, and it's it's just something I have to do. I have to accept what it is and go, and it's really hard for me. So I just ask that you guys pray for me for that. It's probably going to be in a couple of weeks, so just pray for me, and I appreciate everything you guys have said in your comments and everything, and I appreciate your prayers. And just be aware of it, guys, because it is happening. I know Anonymous, they said it on one of their videos. Gosh, it was like 4 years ago that they were cloning the family members of Truth Seekers, and they said that. And I've never known Anonymous, the main Anonymous, to lie about anything. They've never lied about anything, and I've known a couple of people there, so that are in communication with them. So I don't know why they would say that, and it would be a lie. It would be the only thing they have lied about. So it's got to be true. So really think about that, guys, about with your family members, and don't let it drive you crazy, and don't do anything to them, obviously, but you might have to leave them because of it, because I don't know what's going on here. We all don't know what's going on here. All we know is that there are certain bloodlines that they are attacking right now relentlessly, and they're blacklisting us. They're coming after us in force. They're pulling us over. The cops are left and right for stupid stuff. So we're being targeted without a doubt, and we've all got evidence that we can prove in some aspect or another that is happening. And it's not fair. It's against our constitutional rights. It violates, I think it's 6 referendums and 3 amendments in the Constitution. So for them to do this is wrong, and they're going to do it though because the Patriot Act. I think Trump's trying to get to some of this stuff, but he's having a hard time with it, guys. So it might be a while. It might be a while before he finds that list of who's on it. He's being attacked. Anyway, excuse me. Somebody was walking in, so apologize for that. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go, and I just wanted to throw that video out and let you guys know that it's not something that I just, thought up in my head. It's definitely something that is happening, I believe, and it's 100% accurate to what I have found. And I would know, I know who she used to be, I know who she is now. So anyway, you guys have yourselves a great day, and this is Heavy T. Peace, I'm out, guys.